Turn around. You're being arrested.
Whoa, what for, dude?
Turn around.
Are you kidding me?
Turn around.
Do
Turn
you
around.
see this?
Turn around.
Somebody help me!
Turn around.
Welcome to Cop and Corrupt, where we sort out the who and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers panhandling, uses of force on animals, and resisting. On October 13th, 2021, Officer Sierra Brooks of the Gastonia Police Department responded to a 911 call in Gastonia, North Carolina, alleging that an individual was standing at an intersection, and I'm quoting, using dogs to make people feel sorry for them to give them money. When she arrived on the scene, she found disabled and unhoused veteran Joshua Rohrer and his Veteran Affairs as prescribed service dog, Sunshine, standing on the median of a road. The interaction that followed was captured on body camera.
I just saw you take money from that car.
Yeah, you saw me take money, but you didn't see me ask.
All right, let me get your ID, okay?
You can't ask for my ID.
Yes, I can.
Giving me money.
Okay, get your dog, okay? Yes, I can. It's called panhandling. You can give me your ID or you can go to jail for RDO. Which one you want to do?
What's the ID for that?
Because I'm about to write you a citation.
For what?
For panhandling.
That's not panhandling.
Yes, it is.
If you come up to me and give me money...
You walked out to the car.
Because they stopped.
Give me your ID.
You saw the whole situation.
Give me your ID or you're going to jail for RDO, which is resist, delay, obstruct. Okay?
You're going to write a disabled veteran that's living in the woods a ticket.
Yes, because I asked you not to do it, and you
didn't do it. You
and I
see
sit
me.
there and watch
Here, I'm packing my stuff up.
I sit there and watch
You watch me walk up the sidewalk.
to Baker Third City. I'm out with that subject. Send me
Like,
another
you
one.
literally watch me walk up the sidewalk.
Okay, give
you
me your
watch the
ID
car
first.
stop. I'm recording.
You violated a city
No, I
ordinance.
didn't. No, I didn't. There's no city ordinance that says somebody can't give me money. Because I
And
did
you
not ask.
obstructed traffic.
No, I didn't.
I probably need a sergeant out here. He's refusing to give me his ID. Now you see we got a sergeant and multiple units on their way out here. And I can almost guarantee you it's not going to go the way you want it to go.
I want to talk to a supervisor.
He's on his way out here.
Her phone cutting half mile drive. The subject refuses to give ID.
10-4, he requested a sergeant.
Doing all right, sir.
Just out with him. I told him he couldn't be on the median.
Yeah, that's why I was
just
packing
saw
my
him
stuff up.
Walk out to a car to get money.
Yeah, I saw him at Circle K the other day with the car.
So now he's refusing to give me his ID because I'm going to write him for violating the city
She's
ordinance.
trying to write me a ticket because I was walking up this, packing up. She told me to pack up.
I told
and
you
I was
I
literally
would-
rolling up my
listen,
roll. People give me money without me
Okay.
asking. I don't have to ask.
Because let me tell you, because you're not a lawyer. You can get one, but I can tell you how the law works.
Packed
Listen,
up like you told me
I just
to.
want you to know you can go to jail for this ordinance. If you continue to argue with officers, you're going to go to jail, and we are going to call animal control for your dog. You got it? You cannot be here.
That's fine. I told her I was
Okay,
leaving.
and I interpreted you asking for money because you're
Yeah,
like
that-
this.
that-
And
you
you walk out
can't-
to the car.
You're writing me a ticket for a
Can we
crime
get your
I
ID?
didn't commit.
Can we get your ID?
Dude, I didn't commit this crime.
But you're also in the median after I've told you not to be here before.
And that's why I was vacating, because she asked me to leave. And I was literally walking
I also
up here.
asked
I
you
didn't
not to
ask
take
anybody
money.
for money.
Okay.
That's right. I'm taking this to trial.
You can.
You're wasting taxpayer dollars.
Okay.
Well,
I pay my taxes.
Officer Maurice Taylor arrives at the scene, where the officers allege that Mr. Rohrer broke a city ordinance by panhandling. Mr. Rohrer disputes this, stating that he didn't actively solicit money, but merely accepted it. Gastonia ordinances under section 517, quote, "It shall be unlawful for any person to ask, beg, solicit, or offer to work for money by accosting another or forcing oneself upon the company of another." It more specifies that, quote, "For purposes of this section, ask, beg, solicit, or offer to work for shall include the spoken, written, or printed word, or such other acts as are conducted in furtherance of the permitted activity," and defines accosting as, quote, "approaching or speaking to an individual in such a manner as would cause a reasonable person to fear imminent bodily harm or the commission of a criminal act." Additionally, the ordinance defines forcing oneself upon the company of another as, quote, "continuing to request, beg, solicit, or offer to work in close proximity to the individual addressed, after the person to whom the request is directed has made a negative response, blocking the passage of the individual addressed, whether such person be within or without a motor vehicle, or otherwise engaging in conduct which could reasonably be construed as intended to compel or force a person to accede to such demands. Therefore, While it's possible to argue that Mr. Rohrer's gesture of waving could be interpreted as a step towards soliciting money, it's evident that he didn't approach or coerce any drivers, as defined by the ordinance. However, Section 6-228b of the Gastonia Ordinances states that, quote, "It shall be unlawful for any person to stand, sit, or loiter in any street or highway, including the shoulders or median strip, but excluding sidewalks, and to solicit or accept contributions from the occupants of any stopped vehicle, or to sell or distribute merchandise or literature to the occupants of any stopped vehicle." However, despite the likelihood that Mr. Rohrer's actions may have breached the ordinance by accepting a donation from a vehicle occupant, there is a significant chance that a court would deem both Gastonia panhandling ordinances unconstitutional for infringing upon the First Amendment. In the 2015, as the Supreme Court determined case of Reed v. Town of Gilbert, content-based laws, those that target speech based on its communicative content, are presumptively unconstitutional and may be justified only if the government proves that they are narrowly tailored to serve compelling state interests. Before the Reed decision, lower courts generally viewed panhandling laws as content neutral, making them subject to intermediate scrutiny. Under this standard, the government only needed to demonstrate that the restriction was carefully crafted to serve a significant government interest rather than meeting the higher threshold of a compelling government interest required by strict scrutiny for content-based laws. Therefore, it's probable that a court would determine that both Gastonia panhandling ordinances infringe upon the First Amendment and thus cannot be constitutionally enforced against Mr. Rohrer.
There you go.
No, your state ID, not your VA ID.
This isn't valid. It's not valid.
I need your state ID, not your VA ID. I'm going to ask you one more time.
It's not even valid.
Give me your
It's
state
out of
ID.
date.
All right, turn around. You're being arrested.
Whoa, what
You're under
for,
arrest.
dude?
Turn around.
Are you kidding me?
Turn around.
Do
Turn
you
around.
see this?
Turn around.
Somebody help me!
Turn around.
Hey, what are you doing?
Turn around.
What are you doing? Mama!
Hey.
What are you
Hey.
doing?
Call your dog off. 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 Sir, call your dog off. Call your dog off. He just bit me. He bit me. Call your dog off. To Charlie. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. We need. To Charlie 10 City. We need more units. We need more units.
Help me! Stop! Why are you doing this?
After alleging that Sunshine bit him, Officer Taylor deployed his taser on Sunshine, causing her to flee after being tased. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, which oversees North Carolina, ruled in the 2003 case of Altman v. City of High Point that dogs are entitled to protection under the Fourth Amendment as effects, also recognized as personal property. The court further determined that a Fourth Amendment seizure of personal property occurs when there is some meaningful interference with an individual's possessory interest. It's in that property. And therefore, any warrantless interference with a dog must be deemed reasonable to adhere to the standards outlined in the Fourth Amendment. In the Altman case, the court concluded that animal control officers acted reasonably within the bounds of the Fourth Amendment when they fatally shot multiple dogs found roaming freely in the city. These dogs had either attacked someone previously or were recognized as aggressive due to their breed. However, in the 2020 case of Ray v. Rohn, the Fourth Circuit ruled differently. In this instance, a dog owner asserted an unconstitutional seizure claim, alleging that an officer shot and killed her dog while it was barking and advancing aggressively. Importantly, the dog was tethered and unable to reach the officer at the time of the incident. While recognizing the government's significant interest in safeguarding citizens and law enforcement officers from potentially hazardous dogs or those causing public disturbances, the court ultimately determined that the officer was not eligible for qualified immunity. This decision stemmed from the fact that he shot the dog at a moment when he could not have reasonably believed that the dog posed a threat to himself or others. At the time of the incident, Officer Taylor claimed that Sunshine had bitten him. However, the body camera footage revealed Sunshine standing several feet away from Officer Taylor. Despite not being leashed, there is no evidence in the footage showing Sunshine biting either of the officers or displaying any signs of aggression. Instead, as explained by Mr. Rohrer's attorney in a federal complaint filed following the incident, Sunshine appeared to be fulfilling her role as a service animal trained to provide comfort to Mr. Rohrer, who suffers from PTSD, panic attack disorder, and hiatal hernia. According to the complaint, quote, sensing Mr. Rohrer's distress, Sunshine paced calmly around Mr. Rohrer's feet and then jumped onto the car to be closer to his face, in keeping with her training. Sunshine was non-aggressive throughout the encounter and did not bite defendant Taylor or anyone else. Instead, Sunshine exhibited non-threatening posture, did not growl, lower her ears, snap, lunge, or give any other indication that she might be dangerous, and merely walked calmly back and forth in Mr. Rohrer's vicinity. This evaluation aligns with the observations from the body camera footage. If a court concurred that Sunshine posed no threat to the officers, it would probably also conclude that Officer Taylor's decision to tase her was unjustified.
Turn around.
Record this!
Turn around, sir.
Help me!
2 Charlie 10 City, taser deployed on the dog.
No, take that Charlie and 10 was bit by the dog.
It bit my foot and I knew it was going to bite you, sir.
Charlie was bit by the dog.
10-4, it didn't break my boot, but it bit my boot.
Relax and give me your hand.
Why are you doing this? I haven't done anything.
His dog has never taken
I get you, but I have to do what I have to do. The dog bit me, okay?
No, it didn't, because you shot him with a taser.
What did they ask you for?
They asked me for my ID, and then he grabbed me and tackled me
Because you
and threw
wouldn't
me
give
on
it
the
to me.
floor. I was in
Because
the
you wouldn't give it
process
to
of
me.
handing it to you.
This guy has been out here for months. His dog has never
Okay, we're doing what we have
They
to do.
tased my dog.
We have to do our
Here's
job.
the thing. Y'all didn't see the whole story, so just back up.
Dude, you didn't either. You're harassing me and
Be nice right now. Really be nice.
Thank you. I need your information. Somebody please help me. They're trying to kidnap me. I don't know what they did with Sunshine. Where's my dog? Sunshine Ray. I need my dog. She's my medical device.
The dog's always there. He never bites anybody. You come give him money.
I get, but when we're trying to detain the owner, of course the dog's going. And I asked him to call his dog off. The dog got on the hood of the car, and the dog began barking. The dog initially barked and bit my boot, but it didn't break my boot. I did not want this dog to bite my partner. You understand?
No, I understand.
Okay, we asked for his ID. He refused us to give us his ID.
Officer Taylor asserts that Mr. Rohrer was arrested because he declined to show his ID to receive a citation, even though Mr. Rohrer presented his federal veteran identification card. In the North Carolina General Statutes, under Section 14 and 223, which codifies the offense of resisting officers, quote, if any person shall willfully and unlawfully resist, delay, or obstruct a public officer in discharging or attempting to discharge an official duty, the person is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. Case of State versus Friend. In the 2014, the North Carolina Court of Appeals held that, quote, the failure to provide information about one's identity during a lawful stop can constitute resistance, delay, or obstruction within the meaning of Section 14(2)(23). However, the court specifically noted that it had been previously determined in the 1997 case of Roberts v. Swain that the failure to provide a social security number during a stop was not sufficient to establish probable cause to arrest because the refusal to provide the social security number did not hinder or prevent police officers from completing the arrest and citation, and that the Friend case was different because the defendant's refusal to provide identifying information did hinder the officer from completing a citation. In upholding the conviction, the court determined that the defendant's actions prevented and obstructed the officers from conducting a thorough and prompt investigation into the reported disturbance. In this instance, Mr. Rohrer promptly presented verifiable identification by providing his veteran identification card issued by the federal government. Veteran IDs typically do not include an individual's address. If the officers required Mr. Rohrer's address to issue the citation, it could be argued that his veteran ID was insufficient for their needs. Moreover, Mr. Rohrer attempted to clarify to the officers that his state ID was expired and did not contain his current address, raising doubts about any purported necessity for the state ID as claimed by the officers. Applying this precedent, Mr. Rohrer would have a strong defense against any resisting charges arising from his refusal to provide his expired state ID rather than his veteran ID.
I'm not sure if she's mad because he's here all the time and they don't like the fact that we had to do what we had to do.
Please help me.
I'll tell you. Yeah, it didn't break. His dog initially bit me.
No, you
It didn't break
tased my
boot.
dog.
It got
My
on the
dog
thing
was
and I
running
and the dog
away and he
and I
shot
the
her
dog.
while she was running away.
I didn't shoot her. I tased her.
Yes, he did. He tased her for no
My camera's
reason.
still on.
My dog never hurt anybody.
And you seen the dog go which way?
It ran down this way somewhere. I'm good, but
EMS or anything?
no, I'll talk to you later.
We're good.
After his arrest, Mr. Rohrer faced charges of soliciting on the road, resisting a public officer, and 2 counts of resisting public officers on July 6, 2022, in Gaston County District. The district attorney dismissed all charges related to his October 13, 2021 arrest. However, Mr. Rohrer pleaded guilty to an unrelated charge of driving with a revoked license. As part of his sentencing, Mr. Rohrer received 2 years of probation with the condition that he participate in the Catawba County Veterans Treatment Court. On June 30th, 2023, Mr. Rohrer initiated a lawsuit against Officer Taylor, Officer Brooks, and the city of Gastonia, among others. The lawsuit alleged violations of the First Amendment, violations of the Fourth Amendment, including the use of excessive force against Mr. Rohrer and the unreasonable seizure of sunshine, violations of the Americans with Disabilities Act, defamation, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. In addition to contesting the constitutionality of the circumstances surrounding his arrest, Mr. Rohrer's lawsuit encompassed broader legal claims against the involved parties. As of the date of writing this episode, Mr. Rohrer's lawsuit is still pending. Tragically, while Mr. Rohrer was in custody following his arrest, Sunshine managed to escape from her caretaker and was fatally struck by a vehicle after running into traffic. In his complaint for the lawsuit, Mr. Rohrer alleged that Sunshine's death was the direct result of her being teased, as she had previously been able to cross the street safely on her own due to her training as a service animal. Following Sunshine's death, Mr. Rohrer experienced a severe mental health episode and ran head-on into traffic attempting to end his life. Fortunately, his attempt was unsuccessful, but according to the complaint filed in his lawsuit, Mr. Rohrer began seeing a therapist twice a week and began taking a range of psychiatric medications to address the mental health repercussions of his arrest and Sunshine's death. In February of 2022, Officer Taylor resigned from the Gastonia Police Department. Subsequently, in August of 2022, Gaston County District Attorney Travis Page announced that Officers Taylor and Brooks would not face criminal charges for their actions during Mr. Rohrer's arrest. In a statement addressing the absence of charges, DA Page wrote, "Immediately after first viewing this footage in 2021, I consulted with the State Bureau of Investigation about a criminal investigation. I was of the opinion then and remain of the opinion that Officers Brooks and Taylor committed no acts of criminal wrongdoing. I believe that the only criminal acts depicted in the body cam footage of October 13, 2021 were committed by Joshua Rohrer, who resisted, delayed, and obstructed the actions of Officers Brooks and Taylor. My office's dismissal of the relevant charges as part of a plea agreement was in no way a repudiation or negative reflection of the actions of the officers involved. In fact, it was an act of mercy given to a veteran with a very concerning criminal history in hopes that he would receive the assistance he dearly needs." When his lawsuit was announced in June of 2023, Mr. Rohrer issued a statement of his own, which read in part, "As many members of the Gastonia community know, October 13, 2021 was one of the worst days of my life. The Gastonia Police Department violated my constitutionally protected rights, assaulted me, and tased and permanently incapacitated Sunshine, my VA-prescribed PTSD service animal. I have vowed to get justice for Sunshine since the beginning. That day and the filing of this lawsuit is the next step in that promise to her." Mr. Rohrer also wrote that, quote, "Gastonia has long had a history of targeting and mistreating those that deems less desirable fittingly. They say that Sunshine is the best disinfectant. I hope that this lawsuit will be that disinfectant and bring justice and accountability to Gastonia." Overall, Officer Taylor, Officer Brooks and the Gastonia Police Department receive an F for likely violating Mr. Rohrer's First Amendment rights by enforcing unconstitutional panhandling laws, unreasonably tasering Sunshine when she did not pose a danger to the officers, and failing to consider Mr. Rohrer's disabilities when interacting with him and Sunshine. In particular, Officer Taylor's actions in allegedly fabricating a claim about Sunshine biting him and then tasering her when she was not behaving aggressively, ultimately leading to her death, were reprehensible and revealed an alarming lack of concern for both Mr. Rohrer's healthcare needs and Sunshine's life. Throughout the encounter, Officer Taylor and Officer Brooks not only failed to accommodate Rohrer's disability, but they also seemed to treat him with contempt and disdain, even reprimanding him for seeking to remain with Sunshine, despite her being a VA-prescribed service animal that Mr. Rohrer required to function. Additionally, the Gastonia Police Department has continually defended Officer Taylor's actions in tasering Sunshine and publicly criticized Mr. Rohrer for speaking out. This entire situation is deeply troubling, and if I could assign a lower grade than an F to everyone involved on the government side of this encounter, I would certainly do so. As for Mr. Rohrer, I cannot justly assign a grade to an individual who suffers from mental health disabilities and was so clearly victimized by officers who seem to lack any regard for his legal and constitutional rights. That being said, Mr. Rohrer has admirably advocated for himself, speaking out against his mistreatment and holding the appropriate government officials accountable for their violations. He has consistently fought for justice and continues to do so through his pending lawsuit. I extend my deepest condolences to Mr. Rohrer for the loss of Sunshine and commend him for taking the necessary actions, both legal and otherwise, to expose the wrongdoing in this situation and hold those responsible accountable for their actions. That was all for today's video. You can share with us your views in the comment section about video, and if you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any future bad cop videos we upload. Thank you for watching the video. Best of luck and goodbye.